The attention for Real Salt Lake now turns to DC United for Saturday night's matchup at RFK Stadium.
It's a good start. We preach having good starts and how important that is to how we play. We preach pressuring the opposition and trying to generate turnovers in our attacking half. We were able to do both of those things. And one of the interesting things for me is Salvo scored a lot of goals for us this year and over 2 years. I don't think he scored a goal in his head yet this year. I believe that was his first one. And that's something for me. He's an elite level header. We talk about Borchers, we talk about Olave. But in my opinion, based on the skill set, it's very unusual that Borchers or Olave, let alone both, would have more headed goals in the season than Alvaro. The degree of difficulty on that header was extremely high, and I give Alvaro a lot of credit. And I think we're now 19-1-4 all time when Alvaro scores. So Jordani was a player we scouted all year. He's been in the USL for 2 years. He's a player with whom we were familiar. He played a little bit deeper role for Orlando this year than he has been otherwise, previous, I should say. Man, for a debut, it's a really bright, promising start.
For DC United, coming off of Wednesday's result against Chivas USA at home, the focus for Real Salt Lake is figuring out how DC United is going to play long-term without Chris Pontius. Going back to June 18th, remember that vital 2 points dropped. Chris Winger, Charlie Davies tangling in the box. DC United walking out of Rio Tinto Stadium with a point.
First and foremost, we've never won in DC. So, again, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We can talk about all the scenarios and the players who might be back and the players who won't be back, but we've never won in DC. So if you want to go out there, you better believe it's going to be a fight, and you better believe it's going to be a battle. And DC is a team that, for the most part, wants to play soccer. You're going to see the entire depth of our team tested. I think you may see some new faces against DC as opposed to the way we played against New York. And those players have to step up and perform. And we cited Jordani Alvarez and Schuler and Warner as 3 young players that stepped up and had good performances. And we're going to need at least 3 more guys that maybe don't start all the time for us to step up and show that they want to start, that they want to nail down a spot ahead of the playoffs. And the DC game is going to be there for them to do that. The number one goal for this organization has been and always will be winning MLS Cup. There will be no deviation from that. So is it an advantage to us to finish first in the West to get home field advantage in the playoffs? Absolutely. And is that a reason to try to win the Supporters Shield? Absolutely. I will put our home record up against any team in the league. And when our fans come out and support us in some of these massive games, I take that home field advantage over anybody else's in the league. So a Supporters Shield is a worthy and I think potentially attainable goal, but it's a difficult goal to be clear. And for me, the most important thing to keep light of is how do we best prepare our team to win a championship, to win MLS Cup, because that's the primary goal of the organization this year and every year. Beat LA in LA, then you got a chance. And if you don't win that game, you have no chance. It's a 6-point game with that swing. It's going to be too big a gap unless you can win in LA. So we have to. We have to. That is what will judge the success of this group. And there's no point in evading that or dancing around it or pretending that it's not there. It is. It is the thing that this group has done once. If you want to be considered a great team in MLS, you want to go down. People were talking about us in the context of the Champions League final in terms of the best teams in MLS history. If you want to be in that conversation, even to start it, you got to win at least 2 titles. And we have to then have that as our goal this year.